substance.
All right, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama speaking on the host Paul Stadium. Lastly, with President, before we zoom into the discussion, Joshua, President says, number one, Black Stars did well at the World Cup tournament because many did not expect the team to perform even beyond the group stage, but we were able to qualify to the run of 32, and for him, that's an achievement, and he thinks that Black Stars did well. Number two, he thinks that if this team is retained, we should be able to win the next AFCON or even the next World Cup. I mean, by retaining this team, it means that we need to maintain the Black Stars coach, Carlos Queiroz, as well. He used the word persuade. He says if we're able to persuade Black Stars head coach, Carlos Queiroz, then Ghana will be in a better position to win the next AFCON tournament or the next World Cup tournament. Listen.
And we also need to start preparing for the next World Cup. The Black Stars did well. Nobody gave them a chance. People predicted they'll crash out at the group stage, but they managed to get into the round of 32. I'm sure that if we keep this team and we persuade the coach to continue to work with the team, by the time of the next AFCON and the time of the next World Cup, we'll have a team that can claim the championship in any of those two competitions. And so we'll finish this inspection, and soon we'll bring them to start looking at it and beginning the designs. And once they finish the designs, we'll come back and let the traditional rulers, everybody look at how the stadium will look after it is finished. And once they sign off on it, we'll come here again and cut the sword and start the construction. Thank you.
Now, Josh, first off, I think that the president's vision to have improved sports infrastructure in this country should be commended.
Absolutely, and I agree.
Yeah.
Because, Zando, the last time this country saw any form of sports development in terms of infrastructure, and a major one for that matter, is in 2008 before we hosted the AFCON.
Okay.
When we hosted the All Africa Games, there was some investment as well into infrastructure.
Yeah, the Botima Sports Complex. The University of Ghana Sports Stadium.
Very well. I'll come to that. But I'm saying this because off air, we spoke about the fact that if Ghana is to host another AFCON in the future, it will mean that we have to develop our infrastructure to a certain level.
Of course.
Zando, you were in La Côte d'Ivoire. You saw how they hosted the AFCON.
Yeah.
You saw the stadium.
Yeah.
Weren't you impressed with it?
Of course, the Felix Ofebonyi Stadium and Lassani Ouattara Sports Stadium. And these were beautiful stadiums.
Very beautiful stadiums.
Exactly.
And
that's just to mention a few.
Yeah. I remember in 2008, when the AFCON was hosted in Ghana, the government spent close to about $157 million to improve existing stadium infrastructure in Accra and Kumasi, and also build the Esipon Stadium and the Tamale Stadium. So these four stadia were used primarily for the 2008 for the tournament. But since then, we've not seen so much pumped into infrastructure. In fact, our stadia infrastructure has declined in terms of quality.
Yeah. And as we speak, the Accra Sports Stadium is the only approved venue,
CAF approved venue
in the
for even our qualifiers.
Even that one, we struggle to even convince CAF at times. Just recently, the NSA boss Ankra admitted that the Accra Sports Stadium is in a terrible state. And if we do not improve the condition of the facility, we will not be able to host the next under-20 AFCON that Ghana has been earmarked to host.
And that is a big concern. Because I remember recently when Ghana played one of its qualifiers at the Accra Sports Stadium, a section of the stadium had to be closed because it was announced that there was a certain defect structurally.
I think where the scoreboard was Accra Sports Stadium, it posed some risk.
Yeah, so and if people went to sit there was a risk of a collapse.
Exactly.
Look, Zando, we have to be very serious in this country as far as sports is concerned, and we've said this so many times. But the mere fact that the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is re-echoing this is good news to me. Because it looks like then it will become a priority for the government.
Really?
It has to be.
But yes, he's the president. Yeah. Sometimes we just have to, how do you call it? We just have to listen to their manifesto, what they say, and how well they are putting in place plans to implement whatever thing that they see. I remember when he was doing his thank you tour in Ashanti region, he was at the Prempeh Assembly Hall also, and he promised that the Baba Yara Sports Stadium was going to see a massive rehabilitation. That was the statement I used. But since then, we've not really heard much about that particular statement in terms of improving the situation of the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So yes, he's the president, and the vision is clear. It's good, right? But at the end of the day, we don't really see much
in terms of implementation on the ground.
When you go to the ground, you don't really see much.
You know, this is down to the funds and the availability and how the Ministry of Finance would also release
Funds
to be able to get some of these projects going. And if I listen to the president really well, especially in his manifesto readings and all the things he has said on his thank you tour, what I can, deduce from it is that most of these things will not happen just at once.
Yeah.
But definitely, once he has said it and once the sports ministry, the finance ministry, and all the relevant stakeholders are in tune with what he's saying,
then we put it in motion.
of course, the funds will be released later on.
Okay.
But you see, a lot of this must be done in such a way that we would get to understand how important it is for the government in prioritizing these, infrastructure. Because I was telling you about Boteman. Yesterday, there was a video from Boteman.
In fact, it's terrible.
Look at the weeds that are going around the facility.
We have not been able to keep that place, and it's so sad.
It's very sad.
A huge chunk of money was pumped into that particular project.
You get it.
And it was so beautiful when we were using it for the African Games. Unfortunately, less than 2 years, you've never been able to maintain
the place.
And you see, that has been a trend since 2008 when we hosted the AFCON tournament. Charlie, when you watch the Esipon Sports Stadium in 2008 on television,
very beautiful,
very beautiful.
Yeah,
but Charlie, it is in a terrible state.
Very, very terrible state.
And all because of lack of finance. And I'm glad the NSA boss recently spoke to that.
Yeah.
That because of the situation, the financial situation of this country, we are able to invest and improve our sports infrastructure. So I'm glad, like I'm saying, look, the president is not alone in this particular one. Remember former Ghana defender Daniel Opare?
Yeah.
He says he's not going to mince words, right? Ghana's sports infrastructure, for him, is in a terrible state.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like because I'm a Ghanaian and I wouldn't. We have to invest big to improve facilities, And truth to be spoken, our facilities are poor. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like because I'm a Ghanaian and I wouldn't tell the truth, Our facilities are poor. The teams don't have good facilities. Our junior sides, we are talking about the starlets, the meteors, the satellites, and I think that football, we are not taking football seriously, and it's killing the younger generations because that is where we all developed from. And these are some of the things like when I look at it, really hurts me because it hurt me so bad to the extent that when I see our junior teams really doing bad, are not able to, the Black Stars is not able to get the players that they are supposed to get because they have to go from generation to generation, put them together, develop them so that we can have the product for the Black Stars. So when you see our group and the group of Muntari and Asian that passed by, tell me, we've not seen any other group like that. The day I was there, Inkum was there, Harris Sinafo, the Wakasos and the Ajimambedu, Rabiu, tell me the Dominic Diaz, where are they? So I think we are playing a lot. It's a joke. And when I see things like this, it really makes me like angry to talk about it. And when you speak, they say you talk too much. But this is the truth. I'm telling them the federation needs to do better. They need to encourage the coast teams. They need to push the money there. They need to make sure that these young ones get the facilities for them to improve. Otherwise, the Blaster is going to keep on suffering, struggling, for years to come because we are not going to get the product to supply. And that's the truth. Daniel
Opare was not a happy man.
Of course.
And government and then even the federation, the Ghana Football Association.
Yeah. And you see how passionate he was about the issue. Look, Zando, we've spoken about Mauritania.
Yeah.
A country that has started embarking on a football project. We've spoken about countries like Cape Verde who have started a football project. Go to these countries, what are they doing right? Aside the fact that they are investing in their young ones and helping them to improve upon their talents, they are also investing in infrastructure.
Okay.
So we saw how Mauritania hosted the under-17 AFCON some years ago when Daniel Efriye Banya was captain of the team.
In fact, we won it.
We won it. Look at you saw the infrastructure over there. That's Mauritania. Ghana is a footballing nation. We all know it. But we are still relying on our past glories and convincing ourselves every day
to improve our situation
that we are doing well, but we are not.
We are not. But Josh, are we not in a good situation now, or a better situation to improve our sports infrastructure, because Ghana just attended the World Cup tournament. We stand a chance of getting around $30 million. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then I said, just like Professor Chumesi, when Ghana went for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, suggested. Then they say, boss, Jan Pofankra is suggesting or telling government that, look, we need to get an amount from the World Cup pairs to improve sports infrastructure in this country.
What on earth are we investing monies we get from the World Cup on from 2006 to 2026? Journalists, where are you? I'm a journalist, and I also have to put myself in that space that, hey, dude, you've not said enough. You've not done enough. You've not lobbied enough. You've not argued enough. That invest in our pitches, whether it is Babayara or Esipong, or look at the cycle, the renovation, rehabilitation, a tournament comes up, we have to go back and start again, round and round. And this is something that has been going on for years. It doesn't make it right. So we need to invest any little money that we get from the World Cup. A percentage must go back to making sure that we have at least decent pitches.
So, Joshua, we all agree that getting our sports infrastructure right is key to talent discovery and talent development in this country.
Of course, absolutely. And you see, I couldn't agree with Jan Pofankra more, because at the end of the day, what we do in Ghana is that when we identify the issues and we speak about them, right, we only pay lip service to them.
Yeah.
So we complain about the issues, and when other topical ones arrive, we relegate these ones to the background.
Okay.
So in order to help reinforce and activate the necessary measures to get what he's saying to happen on the ground, we need to back it with policy. So we saw how the sports fund was, enacted and approved by Parliament.
Yeah.
Let's get an act to go through Parliament to help us to prioritize sports infrastructure in this country.
But maybe the sports fund will solve that problem, because the sports fund now exists to, first of all, improve athletes' welfare.
Yeah.
Athletes include, footballers. They are part of athletes,
Absolutely.
right? Footballers are athletes. And then, of course, sports infrastructure in this country. Maybe early days yet, since the establishment of the sports fund, let's give ourselves some time. Probably in the next 12 months.
That's true.
We'll see the real fruit of the sports fund, where it will be utilized, because now every penny that we get from the World Cup tournament will be sent to the sports fund.
No, very, very important. And I also want to see, or I want us to get to a point where the GFA, the sports ministry, as well as the NSA come together to partner and collaborate.
Yeah, very, very important.
To actively solve these issues. It's not just about the stadia that we need to build. The training pitches.
Exactly.
To help with coach football.
But the technical people who are supposed to be
trained.
Yeah.
The coaches that we need to develop.
Yeah.
So we are not just looking at the pitches and how they need to be improved and how new ones need to be built in various regions. But we need to look at a holistic, protection of the sport that is football in general.
Okay.
So that we can also see the fruit thereof, and also we can help our young ones to go through the system and then become successful at playing football in this country.
Now, let's look at the second part of the discussion, which is very, very important, because number one, the president says Ghana did well at the tournament, at the World Cup tournament. Number two, he thinks we should maintain or persuade Carlos Queiroz to be maintained as Black Stars coach.
Yeah.
Once we get that done, we should be able to win the next AFCON or the next World Cup tournament. What do you make of it? Yeah.
Well, with the president's remarks about our performance at the tournament, I think that he was trying to be very liberal in his comments. He wouldn't. Of course, this is our president who has always championed the message of resetting Ghana.
Yeah.
And with the kind of expectation that we all gave our team going into the tournament, it is only those who are dishonest who would think that the Black Stars were capable of getting to the quarterfinal and the semi-final.
So are you saying that the sports minister was dishonest?
No, again, I think we have also said on this platform that with the sports minister, he was trying to be optimistic.
Okay.
So although one could look at Idi Adams's comments as he was being too optimistic, what he was doing was that he was just trying to help us to understand that, look, anything is possible in the World Cup.
Of course.
So I can understand his remarks as well. But let's be very honest. The truth is that because of how we prepared for the tournament, nobody thought that the Black Stars could even make it out of the group.
Yeah.
And I think the performances against Panama and England, those two games highlighted what we were capable of doing. And I think that is what John Mahama is speaking to. Because I also agree with him when he says that look, nobody gave the team a dog's chance.
Yeah.
But we went to the tournament, and then the effect of Carlos Queiroz was felt, which is why I believe he's also talking about keeping him in the position. So he is saying that we need to convince him to stay.
Yeah.
For that, I may disagree with him.
Really?
Because, again, he is not necessarily a technical football person.
His Excellency?
Of course.
But he watches football. He saw when we did a tournament.
To watch football.
I mean, he knows that, look, Ghana qualified beyond the group stage for the first time in 16 years.
Good.
In fact, the last time we were at the World Cup quarterfinals was in 2010. And since then, in 2014, we couldn't qualify beyond the group.
Yeah.
In 2018, I always say we couldn't even qualify.
Good.
2022, we couldn't qualify beyond the group.
Yeah.
Now, there comes 2026. Against all odds. I'm saying all odds because about 98% of Ghanaians before Queiroz took over were not expecting the Black Stars to qualify to the knockout stage.
Yeah.
Right? Now we qualify to the knockout stage. Guess who? Under the tutelage of the coach Carlos Queiroz.
Good.
So in the wisdom of the president, if this man is able to do something we've not been able to achieve in 16 years, why don't we give him the opportunity to probably be in charge for the next 2 years and stand a chance of doing well at the next tournament, which is the AFCON or maybe the World Cup?
No, I agree. You know, Mr. President is a politician.
Okay.
He's a liberal Democrat, if I want to specify.
Yes.
So the comments he will make, he will try as much as possible not to create a certain disaffection within certain circles.
Okay.
So on the face value, based on all you have spelled out, it makes sense for him to say what he's saying based on what he has watched. But Mr. President is not a technical football person. So some of the things that we analysts will sit on platforms and examine and look through research,
he may miss out.
He may not necessarily see it that way. You get it? Because one of the arguments that we are making is that the Black Stars, we need to plan for the future. So if we say we have played the FIFA World Cup 2026 and we have gone to the round of 32, what is our next direction moving forward? Do you want to plan short term or long term? I have said let's plan long term. So let's give ourselves
that should
5
be short
years.
term.
So with what we are seeing right now and per what Mr. President is saying, it's likely that he is going for the short term, where he thinks that the impact of Carlos Queiroz and how it was felt at this World Cup for the Black Stars is something that could be relevant to our preparation for the AFCON in 2027.
Okay, that's next year.
That I can agree.
And that's short term.
Very short term.
Okay.
But we are always talking about the long term. Let's bring in a younger coach, a coach who can be more vibrant, a coach who can take this team, 5 years.
But Josh, let me ask you this. At this point, what do we need? Short term or long term? Short term, because if you have Queiroz, according to President, according to the sports minister, and according to a lot of football pundits in this country, who probably is in a position to win Ghana the next AFCON, to stabilize the system, and probably think long term after 2027, and then appointing a younger coach, 43, 45 years for the next 5 years. Which one will you go for, short term or long term?
It depends on the circumstance. It depends on the situation.
Okay.
So as we speak, and I'll tell you from what I believe must be done. Right? Because I also know that the GFA will bring out their technical reports. They're going to consult stakeholders. They're going to look at various indicators to also make their decisions.
Okay.
But if you ask me, once we had exited the 2026 FIFA World Cup, what we needed to understand was that an era is gone. I look at eras in perspective of tournaments.
Okay.
So when one tournament is over, we find a way to put it behind us, and we prepare for what is ahead of us.
The next assignment is in September.
It's in September, so we are going to be preparing for the AFCON. Now, the Black Stars, if you look carefully, we are at a certain point where we are more or less at a place where we need to transition. In terms of the playing body, you've seen how some of the players that we have currently are players who were integrated into the setup without necessarily going through the ranks,
of course,
and file of juvenile football in this country. Now, we also have a system where we believe that there are a couple of players in the past who have played under 17 and under 20 who need to be promoted to the senior national team. Then we also have local players who play in the local league who have made their mark and need a place in the national team to encourage those who play in the local league to also give their all and give their best. So if we are moving forward, we need to be able to look at these things in perspective and then begin to prepare our team in that direction.
Okay.
Carlos Queiroz came at a point where we would consider him as a stopgap coach for the Black Stars for the World Cup. So initially when he came, that was the mindset.
Okay.
Once that assignment is over, if you ask me, Zanu, that assignment is over. Let's look forward. let's appoint somebody we can have a meeting with. We can have a strategy meeting with, sit down with the person and ask the person certain questions, right? And task the person to achieve certain things for us. In fact, look, it may not be easy for us to tell Carlos Queiroz to just go to the 2027 AFCON and go and win it for us. It may be a very difficult achievement or a very difficult target for him to achieve. Because look, he has come at a point where he is still getting to know the team.
Yeah.
Of course, in terms of getting a coach who would understand the team better, it would make more sense to stick with Queiroz than to go for a new coach.
Yeah.
Because Queiroz sent us to the World Cup. So whatever mistakes he made over there, he would have learned and moved forward. But I'm discussing this with the mindset of being progressive and being very long term in nature in whatever you are doing in your preparations. So if we are going for the 2027 AFCON, let's appoint somebody who is younger, somebody who can still have the liberty to make enough mistakes with the team.
Okay.
But still promise us or still give us the assurance that by the time the 5 years is over,
You should have achieved something.
for which he would have been with the team, he should have achieved something specific.
Okay.
I know that most of us are making these conclusions about keeping Queiroz and, looking at his performance and saying that with what he has done, he can help us to achieve a target of winning the AFCON in 2027. Most Ghanaians still want the Black Stars to win the AFCON.
Yeah.
Because we haven't done that in 42 years. And recently, I heard one respectable sports journalist say that, look, if Ghana doesn't win either the 2027 AFCON or the 2028 AFCON, perhaps he may never see Ghana win the AFCON until he dies. Which is true. And Zando, I know you would agree with me because once these two tournaments are over, the tournament is shifting to a 4-year cycle. So after 2028, the next AFCON will be held in 2042. Sorry, we are in 2026, so 2028, so it will be 2032. So it gives you an idea of what Ghanaians want to see. Because we don't want tournament in, tournament out, and we keep on doing the same old things, and we still get the same, and we want to get different results. We will not get different results. You cannot prepare poorly for the tournament and expect to go and arrive at the round of 16 or the round of the quarterfinal. It doesn't work that way. You need to prepare well. So let's get a coach. If you ask me, let's get a coach. Give him a 5-year contract.
Okay.
Task him with certain indicators. Give him certain targets. Help him to understand that it is okay to make certain mistakes, but we need you to help us develop our football, not just the Black Stars. So help us with the under 17, under 20.
Oversight responsibility.
Okay. So yes, you are managing the Black Stars, but your inputs and your needed responsibility is also going to be very helpful or needful for growing our juvenile teams and helping them to transition properly to the Black Stars.
Okay.
That is what I think would help our football in the long run.
Is it not problematic? I remember in 2021 when Ghana freshly qualified for the Qatar tournament.
Yeah.
You remember the famous Nana Akufo-Addo, former president, His Excellency, the former president Nana Akufo-Addo, famous quote, let's kidnap Otto-Addo and make sure that he takes us to the World Cup. After the World Cup, the similar statement was made, let's retain him. And then after the World Cup tournament, he left, right? And then we brought him back.
Yeah.
And the end story was that terrible. Are we not charting the same path with Carlos Queiroz when it is you watch his team play and you're able to raise some uncertainties around how we play? How we create chance has been problematic at the World Cup tournament. People have spotted that, look, even our attackers were not shooting on target and stuff like that. These were the weaknesses we observed under Carlos Queiroz. Are we not providing or creating another problem with Carlos Queiroz?
To answer this question and to even, give my remarks on it, I would have asked another question and said that what has been our plan in managing our football over the years? Let's assume that after the normalization committee, we had a new regime. So Keto Kreku takes over. What has been his idea? What has been his philosophy on how we should manage our football in this country?
That's a big question.
Because if we should go back to those rudiments, if we should go back to those documents, we would identify that there is something that we should be doing that we are not doing. So why have we arrived at this Otto conundrum? Why did Otto leave and come back? Why did we bring in Chris Hughton? Why did we even have to sack Otto at such a point and bring in Carlos Queiroz? You see, all of these questions are questions that we should go back and ask them and look into our rule books, look into our documents. Have we followed the things that we said to ourselves that we're going to do after the normalization committee did its work?
Pressure, you may have all the brilliant ideas on paper, but Charlie, when Ghanaians give you pressure, but you see, at this point, let me open the phone lines before you continue with the discussion whether Carlos Queiroz should be maintained. I mean, President wants the coach to be persuaded to stay, and the President thinks that we can win the next AFCON tournament if this team is maintained. Listen, in fact, he said even the World Cup, the next World Cup, we should be able to win it with Carlos Queiroz and this current Black Stars team, because he thinks that we did so well at the World Cup tournament. 03-220-83596, 03-220-83597, 03-220-83598. Please start calling and let's have a conversation on what the President of the Republic of Ghana has been saying about the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Randall.
Kalusha Mandem, how are you doing?
I'm good, Randall.
Charlie, what's up? Yes, hear you.
I agree with him. Our team was formidable. And as I'm giving the coach some time, I believe that he have a nice. So I agree with him. It's a friend of him.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Kalusha, for coming through with your thoughts. 03-220-83596. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Randall.
Please, I don't know who I'm calling us from.
And this is Ankata from Dodina, currently at the hotel.
Hey, Anguti, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Charlie, I'm good. Let's hear you.
I think the last 3 days I wanted to see you, I did not see any of you.
Where?
I came to your premises.
Maybe I was away.
Oh, okay. Around 10 a.m.
Probably I was one in the office.
Okay. Maybe the Jamaican say, the president say, can I say, maintain coaching there. A good idea. And I say, I could do a couple of on it there. And this is there. And this is there. Because team I do go there. And me, this is a Shana on one coach now played me out more dear. Go to the African countries, because Africa is more than they're quiet and they can't say quiet and whatever.
Thank you very much, Uncle Atta. Let's see if we can pick more calls. Hello, good afternoon.
Rondo, good afternoon.
Ike from Domisbet CE.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Charlie, I'm good. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I think I will agree with the president in the sense that I think the coach didn't have enough time to be with the players. And so whatever he did during the World Cup was a way, based on what he had at that time, that was what he would be able to experiment with. But I think going forward, giving him much time and then coming in with bringing in more players, to have to re-strategize, and then he will be able to re-strategize and then going forward into the subsequent tournament. I think he will perform better. And more so, once the president has said we should go for him or we should maintain a coach, we will have our say, but they will still have their own. So I think we should all support that decision.
All right. Thank you very much, Ike from Domisbet E. 03-220-83596, 03-220-83597, 03-220-83598. I still have this last block of commercials to play, but I think you can pick 2 more calls before we sign out for the next program, which is The Drive with Melvin and DJ Hashtag, to continue right here on your super station, Love 99.5. But Josh, it looks like a lot of Ghanaians agree with the president.
No, that is in terms of saving the public purse. That is one thing that would make a lot of sense. And I know that Mr. President, in the spirit of resetting, the country and per all the campaign messages that he has, preached over the years, before he became president, these are some of the principles that he espouses.
Okay,
let's at least be a bit conservative. If we have a low-hanging fruit that we can still utilize to the benefit of the team in the short term, let's go for it.
All right.
But I think anybody who analyzes the fortunes of the Black Stars in the long term would have wanted to see at least a younger manager, younger coach who can carry us for a while.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua. Let me pick my last caller or my last but one caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Please, your name and how calling us from?
This is Andy calling from Kwame.
Andy, let's hear you on air.
Yeah, I think keeping the current coach is a bad idea. Just a waste of money. I think it's going to happen.
Why is it a bad idea?
But you went to the Red Cup, you didn't do anything better. You would qualify because it was 48 teams. If it had been the original plan, you didn't have qualified.
Thank you very much, Andy, for coming through. Akwesi, do you have another caller on? Okay, let's. That's our last caller, right? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Nana Gwagu.
Yes, sir.
Hey, why you dey fry yourself this afternoon, ABC also?
Oh, what have I done? Oh, Charlie.
Let's hear you. The president wants us to maintain Kurosh.
It's like a blind man being led by a one-eyed man. So whatever the one-eyed man says, the blind man will take it. This analogy says that look, we are not doing well at all. Why are we deceiving ourselves as if we play better? A country that plays football and a full 90 minutes could not even have a shot on target. With this kind of play, we are saying we should maintain the coach. No wonder me when they are playing, my heart is not in it too.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh me, yeah, sure. Because look, let us. Are you really satisfied? And that man, what is him? Kerokroku or whatever is his name? Why is it that he still want to maintain and be there, go for a third term or whatever term it be?
Kurt has not said anywhere that he wants to go for third term, please.
Matter, you know the football people, they are shenanigans, they are doing it. We do it.
All right, thank you very much, Nana Kweku. Meet us tomorrow at 6 a.m. For everything sports on Kickoff with Delali Atas and the rest of the sports team. This is where we can end today's edition of the Last Sports Bliss Extra, brought to you in association with Bigo Energy Drink. My name is Stephen Zando. I was in here with my guy Joshua Wodolholo too. The show was produced by Kozichum. Hey, Charlie, do you the mood anyway? All right, next on the radio is The Drive with Melvin and DJ Hashtag. Please stay and continue to enjoy the rest of our programs. But don't forget, we are meeting tomorrow at 6 a.m. for everything 2026 World Cup final between Argentina and Spain on Kickoff. Until we meet again, it's a bye-bye for now.
Mami money